Explore the minds and marketing strategies behind today's winning brands and businesses. Tap into the power of the creator economy with Earned by CreatorIQ.
Earlier this month, we hosted our second annual CreatorIQ Connect Europe in London. 800 marketers, including more than 200 CEOs, CMOs, founders, and VPs across 436 different brands and agencies from 17 countries, spent the entire day connecting around the power of creators in transforming business. We are witnessing a fundamental shift in how trust is built, how culture is shaped, and how communities are formed. And the ecosystem and investment around creators is rapidly scaling. Creator marketing is not just surpassing traditional advertising, but it's now outperforming other digital marketing channels such as search and social media ads. And crucially, EMEA is taking a leading role in all of this. For the first time ever, EMEA is projected to outspend the US in creator marketing across key sectors. EMEA brands understand the value of earned attention. Their audiences are some of the most engaged and creative in the world. And with over 200 countries, 2,000 plus languages, it's a cultural melting pot, driving authentic and diverse storytelling. We started CreatorIQ Connect because we realized the leaders and community in this industry are changing marketing from the inside out. It's also a gathering place for some of the smartest, most generous people in the business. We'll be publishing all of the great content from 46 speakers across 16 sessions. But in the meantime, here are a few quick thoughts from our community to yours. Join us in Los Angeles when we do it all again in October, and we'll take another huge step forward together. What was one of your favorite takeaways from today's sessions?
My favorite takeaway from today was definitely from the indie beauty panel, where indie brands were saying paying creators is non-negotiable. I think that was something that maybe you expect to hear from larger brands of paying creators in a paid partnership capacity, but to hear that from the indie saying, yes, we absolutely need to pay creators and we need to pay them consistently, like not just when we have big campaign moments or new launches. So that was my favorite takeaway of today.
What's something new you learned today?
I wouldn't say it's new, but it goes back to the heart of what I love doing, and that's connecting. And this conference is all about connecting. I did a shout out to an agency that we have used to fuel Revolution Generation. The agency was Jewel. I did not know there was a gentleman called Henry in the audience who came to introduce himself to me from Jewel. And at that moment that he introduced me, another brand was asking me all about Revolution Generation and the agency that I had mentioned during my chat. So in that moment, it was a trio of that connecting, that perfect moment.
Something new I've learned today is the way Revolution Beauty is harnessing their community for product development insights and testing product before its formulations are finalized. That was very cool.
What trends are you anticipating for creator marketing in the year ahead?
I think it is all about keeping it real. And I think that, for me personally, I am looking for that authentic approach. I think the snappier content right now is the one that's hitting. People are thumbing very quickly. So it's, for me, how do you get that incredible impact in the first few seconds of your content?
So many interesting trends in creator marketing. I would say the one that I'm most excited about and really intrigued by is how creators are leveraging AI more in their entire process. So not just for the sake of creating content at scale, but also allowing them to be more efficient, allowing them to really enhance their creativity as well, not use it to replace it, but allow them to do something that, maybe they were like, I don't know how I have, enough time to create all of this content, right? I don't know how to, transition it across the different platforms, right? So they're going to use it to enhance that and also increase their efficiency, which I think is really going to help them from a business perspective.
Okay, I think that one, I will have to say AI. We're hearing it across the board in all different parts of marketing. Things are changing a lot, and I think it's the same thing too for creator marketing. Even though maybe this is a little bit of new territory, we're really exploring how far we can go when it comes to scale, when it comes to creative, what do people accept, what is too much. And I think we're in a really interesting time here to see, where the limit is and where the sky is the limit.
For creator marketing, trends I'm anticipating are more in live selling across every platform that we know and love today. I think we're just at the tip of the iceberg.
How are you thinking about the ROI of your creator program today? What results have you seen recently that would be helpful to others?
I tend to look at level of engagement. I don't really heart a sea of hearts. What I'm looking for is conversation and feedback and dialogue. And for me, the best content that creates a dialogue within, where you have your followers or you have those engaging, actually feeding back to those who are posing questions, is the most valuable dialogue and the most valuable piece of content.
For us, a lot of it is the conversation and the dialogue that is being created is how we're proving the ROI from creator marketing, influencer marketing, is what kind of questions are being asked, what kind of comments are being, shared, that something was inspired by the content that the creator made. Now this is being talked about more, right? It doesn't necessarily mean that it has to be a viral piece of content, but for example, one of our creators that we get to represent, she does like a TMI Tuesday. So every Tuesday she puts a question box on her stories and she says, ask me literally anything when it comes to women's health, pregnancy, anything, like no questions off limits. It's all anonymous. And then she will give her feedback and responses. Those stories, she has like 160K. She gets 20 to 30,000 views on every single story. And the link clicks are insane. Her DMs are popping off. So like it just proves that those conversations she's creating are massive. And we're able to then use that data and say, hey, she does this every Tuesday. Brands, how do you want to integrate in this unique conversation that she's creating, right? And it's this series that she's made on stories, which we don't see a lot either. So it's a really unique piece of content, but allows us to get this extra data that otherwise brands can't see. They can't see the DMs right behind the scenes. So we're able to like take screenshots of these anonymously and share them. And then that allows brands to also be part of those conversations too.
So we are actually, for a campaign that I'm recently working on, we are taking a little bit of a different approach. So rather than trying to build the brand overall very top level, we're trying to demonstrate lower funnel impacts. Again, it's not something that, is done so often across the board. So it was a little bit of a challenge to set it up, but we noticed that it works really well. So that's an approach that we're taking.
The ROI of creators is being proven in so many different ways. So one, pretty much all of those assets are being used in paid social channels. It's very rare that non-creator assets are performing. So looking at the ROI of those ads is huge. And then also ROI of affiliate programs. I mean, that's undeniable. And there's so many places to harness those relationships and that conversion, whether it be Amazon storefront, Shop My, Like to Know It. There's more and more popping up every day.
What's something brands should consider when scaling creator marketing programs across markets or even globally?
I think on anything, when you're thinking global, don't rush it. I think perfect it and test it and land it well before, so the old adage of don't run before you can walk. And so, for me, it's kind of organically grow, organically find your next market, organically. For example, again, with RevGen, we've launched in the UK. We have now nearly 2,000 in our community. 300 are organically from the US without us even pushing it in the US. So we are creating already another community within a community. That to me is the nod that the US is now the next right place to go.
Globally scaling their creator programs. This is where it's really hard because what I love is intentionality behind programs, behind influencer and brand relationships. Really hard to do that at scale because it's not as efficient, right? You might be able to have kind of a bucket where you have 15, 20 creators that their dog's birthday, right? When their kid is like starting school, right? The next milestone that's happening in their life, but then you have the opportunities to work with a lot more creators and you can still have that personal relationship and those personal touches. It's just not as in depth as maybe that, 15 to 20 person group. But I think CreatorIQ is a great example of how you can do that at scale because it's, everything that you need is right there, in your fingertips. So it's going to be really great platforms that are like you guys that are prioritizing how can we make it efficient, but still not lose the personal touches along the way so that creators don't feel like a commodity, right? They feel like actual businesses, actual people and individuals that brands are partnering with.
To scale global creator marketing programs, I think it's really important to realize that creator audiences are likely not confined to one country. So there are many audiences that are split between the UK and the US and Canada, for instance, or maybe even India in that mix. And there's so many mixes that I see. So a lot of times I see kind of insular marketing calendars happening between nations, and that's not how it should go. I think that made sense in a pre-digital world where retail operated on different calendars and different product launches worked that way. But now with everything being on social and social first, I think it's a big mistake to assume that your audience is just from one country when really it's such a mix and a melting pot. And so having those different markets work in step with one another is really, really important.
What does your For You page or Explore page look like right now? And what does that tell you about the current state of creator marketing?
My search? Oh, God. I think I mentioned I am literally just off the back of eye surgery. I've had to lie prone for the last 3 weeks. So I've never done more social scraping than I have in the last few weeks. What does my page look like? It is all about Raplash right now. We've just launched an incredible new mascara, and I am constantly searching to see where we're showing up.
It is a lot of books. I'm on Book Talk heavily. It's that and a lot of pop culture specifically around influencer marketing. So I'm a really big F1 girly. So I was following the F1 Miami race and how brands were activating with, different activations, different pop-ups that were happening there at the races or around the race, not even on the day of. So that was really interesting. And I think just the aspect of our phones listening to us, I could be talking about a certain dress that I want to get, right? Or a new makeup product. And then all of a sudden I'm, scrolling on TikTok or I'm on Instagram and I'm like, hello, like what is going on right now? I was just talking about that. We can look at it as like, oh my gosh, that's kind of scary, but also it's very intriguing because then you start to see product recommendations, right, that you want. Then you start to see other content and you're like, oh my gosh, I was wondering like that perspective, from the race or from that specific event. So I think it's really cool. It's unique. And I'm excited to see, where the influence marketing industry continues to grow into because I've been doing this for 10 years and man, it's evolved. So, but it's cool.
Well, I adopted a Cocker Spaniel puppy last week, so that's really hard to ignore. My whole For You page is full with puppy raising tips, cute dog videos, so yes, that's it.
My Explore page is all about AI and how AI is going to improve and make marketing more efficient. So,
What's been your favorite part of CreatorIQ Connect Europe? Why should someone attend a CreatorIQ event?
I think the best part of it all is that we're together with all these industry professionals, from brands, creators itself, agencies, that we all get to connect. Sometimes it can feel a little isolated in your own company, like you're working in this field, but this is the day and the opportunity to exchange with people working in similar roles. So I really enjoy that, even from very different industries. I can't tell you enough how much I already learned, for example, from the beauty industry, even though I work in tech. So that's super useful on a day like this.
oh my gosh, I mean, just the panelists that CreatorIQ has is incredible. I always learn so much, and you guys have the best venues and locations. So I'll be at every CreatorIQ event.
I have just loved getting to meet so many people. I think it's amazing. There's people from so many different markets. There's people that have come here from the US, myself included. Just the opportunity to hear so many different voices and perspectives. I loved the talk about AI. There's so much we can learn, so I thought it was amazing.
What's one KPI you think is overvalued and one that you think is underrated?
Okay, one KPI that's definitely overvalued is follower count. I think we've been looking at that for so long, but that's not the only thing anymore. With short form video, there's another one that's way more important, that is actually content visibility. So how much people that maybe don't follow you will actually see the video as well. I think that's what we need to look at when we're doing outreach to new creators to work with.
Okay, this is a very spicy take. I think engagement rate is overvalued. And the reason for that is engagement rate is an important metric, and it's certainly something that you should look at. But post frequency, I think, is tremendously undervalued. And if you look at a creator that posts 6 times a day on TikTok, for instance, there is no way that they're going to have the highest engagement rate. It's just not possible. When you're putting out that much content that consistently, you're going to have some videos that kind of barely reach the light of day, and that's part of the game. It's very much the strategy. Whereas you look at a creator that maybe posts 1 to 2 times a week, they likely are going to have a much higher engagement rate. But when you double click and you pop the hood on that, there's actually a place for each of those creators in a community. I always say your community is like a band and everyone plays their instrument. So sometimes I submit creators to some of my brands and they'll say, but the engagement rate is so low. And I'm like, well, but the post frequency is so high and that has value.
How do you define influence in 2025?
I think in 2025, influence is about authenticity and not following trends and really sticking to what makes you weird and quirky and those little things that you do that not everyone else does. I think that's staying true to those things and sharing those things are the things that make you influential, not joining conversations that thousands and thousands of people are already talking about.
How I would define influence in 2025, I think it's evolving from influence to true expertise. I think people want to learn from the people who are influencing them, not just hear about products. The education piece is really paramount now.
What does brand safe mean to you?
Brand safe means to us at NARS someone who is aligned to our values. So somebody who has ties and connections and who speaks with the authenticity to things that are synonymous with NARS. So for us, that would be fashion, that would be artistry, that would be photography. So there's many different lenses, but we want to make sure that someone has, and also really loving. I think the love of the brand also makes the brand safe.
We really like to define it in two ways. There's brand safety, which everybody kind of knows the answer to, right? It's profanity and not safe for work content, maybe substances, right? These base categories that we can all think of. But there's a super class on top of that, which is brand suitability. And brand suitability is kind of like, the example I like to give is like Red Bull versus Capri Sun, right? They're both billion-dollar beverage brands, of course, but what Red Bull is okay with isn't really going to be what Capri Sun is okay with. And so in that context, Red Bull has a different brand suitability to other beverage brands.
Be a friend, tell a friend, and subscribe. Earned by CreatorIQ. CreatorIQ is your all-in-one solution to grow, manage, scale, and measure your influencer marketing program. Ready to unlock the power of the creator economy? Get started with a demo today at CreatorIQ.com.